Yes, a big couch coming up today, episode 776. We have got, music-wise, we've got Joshua Aston performing for us, a wonderful young talent. BitchN is back with our panel today. We're talking a lot of news topics. Talking travel, Steve Collins, and he's also got a show in the Darwin area, which we'd love you to go and support. We'll talk to him very soon. Ranger Red is coming in. We've also got Paul Elwyn coming in to talk streaming. And later on, we talk about the Kind-Hearted Australia quiz night that's coming up with Alexander and Victoria. Big Couch, episode 776 starts now.
It's showtime on the couch. Yeah, it's showtime on the couch. You can see it from your house. You can watch it from your house. It's showtime on the couch with Fred and the best in town. Oh, it's showtime on the couch.
Hello Australia, welcome to another episode of The Couch. Hope you can stick around for the next hour. Coming to you from the wonderful eastern suburb of Ellenbrook, from the Ellenbrook Secondary College. Media 3, this is where our studio is, and we welcome you all around Australia. Thank you for watching us on YouTube, Foxtel, and also on Facebook, and on C31 and C44. C44 in Adelaide, C31 in Melbourne. Thank you for your company. Let's get straight into it. BitchN is up first.
'Cause I'm good, yeah, I'm feeling alright. Baby, I'ma have the best freaking night of my life.
Thank you very much. We've also got Alexander Sacosta, entertainer, 7 personality and employee of the 7 Network. Thank you. And Bernadette Maree, welcome.
Hello.
She's a new presenter doing Talking Fashion on the Couch. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Nice to have you all here. We've got 3 wonderful topics today. We're going to start with you, Bernadette.
Good.
What's your topic?
Glad you're starting with me. Today we are talking corner shops are cool again. Now, I really believe this because I just think it brings back that sense of community. You know, it's nice to have options. It's nice not to have to drive down to the big shopping centres.
Do you remember the old corner shop? Does everyone remember the corner? Are we all
I
old
don't.
enough
I was
to-
too young.
Oh,
That's a corner.
I knew there had to be one that would say, "What's a corner shop?"
Oh,
What's a
God.
shop? What's a corner?
I remember
What do you
them,
remember,
Fred.
Bernadette, about the
I
corner
remember
shop?
the mixed bag of lollies. I remember your parents sending you down, just go and grab me a quick, sugar or something.
Yeah.
And it was just so cool to have that option of just, being a kid and walking down to the shops.
It's really weird. Like, I remember on a Saturday and Sunday especially, they'd send you down to get the milk or the coffee or the cheese, or someone would just roll up and Mum would say, go and get some more bread.
Yeah.
Or I used to go and buy the cashew nuts at our little corner
Or the
deli.
afternoon paper.
Nice.
I used to go get that for my grandfather.
Yeah.
When we used to have an afternoon newspaper.
It was a convenience,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah.
And we all grew up with the corner shop, and it was like a place to meet.
Yeah.
And usually they were Italians. I'm
Yeah.
not being discriminative here, but usually Europeans, let's say, they
Yeah.
used to run it, and you'd go and see Pietro or Nick or whoever it was, and they used to sell you the cold meats and the cheese.
Yeah.
And back then, the delis weren't that expensive.
Exactly. And usually it was somebody's house as well. Like it was, their house, and then they
Yep,
had a little
at
shop
the
in the
back.
front or the back.
Now it's become the house,
Yeah.
basically.
Mine is one of those.
Yeah.
Yes.
Isn't
Yeah.
it funny?
Yeah.
That's so
yeah.
So what do you remember about the corner deli, Susan?
I remember my grandparents living just a few doors down from one, so we used to pop down to just get the paper. That was the big thing. That
Yeah.
was a daily ritual. You had to get the paper. But yeah, running out of milk was not a problem. Everything was just there. It was perfect.
Yeah.
So-
And the corner deli was always, I think, the place for little treats, because I remember getting, like you said, Bernadette, the little bananas and the
Yeah.
little lollies. And does anyone remember, someone's going to say, no, I don't remember that. Remember the little lollipops that looked like a little strawberry and they were covered with sugar? Does anyone remember those?
That's what you say you don't. You
Was that in the 1930s?
Yes. Not before Chopper Chops, But there was always something for everyone.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
loved growing up in a time where a lot of the young kids don't have that anymore, because you go to Coles, it's like a robot now. Everything's,
Do you think
mass-produced.
we've made things more complicated now by doing click and collect? It's a home delivery.
Technology has definitely
it's just
improved, but also
easier.
ruined the culture and society.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we talk to each other much anymore.
No.
I mean, do you remember we'd go to the deli and we'd say, "Hey, Nick, can you order me in a block of cheese?" And Nick would order it in, and they'd say, "We'll be in here on Wednesday." You'd go and pick it up. Now you basically go to Coles and Woolworths, and there's 50,000 types of cheese, and you don't have to order
That's
anything.
if you go to Coles, because as you said, you can do the
Exactly.
click and collect.
Correct.
So you can get around all of that.
And now most of the corner delis have been converted into apartments, cafes, but also a lot of it just become the house. They've turned them into apartments and houses, which is a bit sad. But are they talking about, the story was about bringing them back. Is that here in Queensland?
Yeah, it says
Melbourne.
10 new delis with a difference in Melbourne.
So Melbourne,
Yeah.
well done to our people in Melbourne. I think it's a great idea, bringing back a bit of culture, and it's cosmopolitan. It's a great place to go on a Saturday night, place for maybe just to have a coffee and a cake. The old, lovely pasticities. I think it's a wonderful idea.
Yes.
Alexander, what have you got for us?
Thank you, Fred. Well, following along from that beautiful story about more delis, so this is allegedly a Perth woman pleaded guilty to faking her own death
Allegedly
to claim life.
guilty.
Allegedly guilty. So she not claiming life insurance payments. So she actually managed to get $718,000
I saw that on
from an
Current
insurance
Affair.
company by basically allegedly defrauding them. Karen, ironic name.
Is that her name?
That is her name.
Now, this is a lady from allegedly F45 gymnasium, or she runs one of those gym places.
Yes, allegedly.
Channel 9 broke the story the other night, and Channel 9 basically, Michael Stamp, good friend of mine from 6PR, he went out and chased her down the street and basically said to her, "So, how did you fake your death?" And she was pretending she knew nothing about it.
What a pro,
And
Fred.
she was making it. And then he followed her all the way home, I guess, and she then accused him of trying to send her bankrupt with F45 and all this sort of thing.
Yeah.
So what did she actually do? She
Well,
faked
she
her death?
falsified the death certificate and then managed to put that through, and a record of investigation into the death went through as well through the coroner. So then they actually did transfer the money into her partner's account.
$800,000, $818,000.
I mean,
think it
in
was.
this economy, $718,000.
But you know what she did that really stuffed her up? She opened up the account in her partner's name. Then she thought, after a few days of getting the money, she went and transferred it into her own account. Little by little, she transferred about $500,000. The bank got suspicious, so they cut off the access. So for her to be able to activate the rest of the money, she had to have like a proof of life. So to do that, she had to go to the police.
I'm alive.
And she got documents allegedly from the police that confirmed that she was alive, but then she falsified those documents because obviously she wasn't alive. So I don't know what she did, but basically someone dobbed her in and she got done for allegedly fraud. And she has appeared in court, I believe. They're just waiting to hand down.
The district court, yes.
I think they're saying she could face 10 years jail.
You know
Now,
what? Worth it, Fred.
Would you fake would you fake your own life? Would you? I mean,
to
look,
get out of something? Yeah, probably.
Really?
Depends how much I wanted to get out of it.
But if you're going to say you're dead, you want to stay dead for a while.
Yeah, and you also want to know if your friends actually cared about you. If they're like flowers, come, messages on the Facebook wall. And if you don't get anything, you're like, oh yeah.
It's
You're
a
not getting
huge effort to go to just to see if you've got loyal friends.
Well, yeah.
Do you know what makes me a little bit annoyed with her is that she wanted to be dead, but everybody else knew that she was alive. So she was very clever because the only people that knew that she had passed away was the insurance company. So she thought she could play the bluff until she got the money and then be alive again, and nobody else, the bank wouldn't know because the bank didn't know that she died. The bank just thought, oh, it's in her partner's account. And then they just thought, suspicious, someone's trying to take out all this money.
That just means how easy it was, though. How quickly it's like, oh yeah, she's dead, here's the money. Meanwhile, you like crash your car slightly, they're like, photos, ring, I want every bit of evidence you have possible.
Yeah, well, that's what
That's
happened.
insurance
Look,
companies,
I
but
had
not the ones that sponsor our show.
I had a situation only a few weeks ago with Bank West where I'll name and shame them. They basically, I put some money in there that had a really good interest rate.
Yeah.
And I wasn't very happy with them because they wouldn't give me a credit card. So I said, oh, stuff you, I'll move my money back to Westpac. They wouldn't let me move it. They actually locked the account and thought that I was money laundering, even though the money came electronically from another bank. How can you money launder if it's not cash?
Yeah, exactly.
So
I
they
would money
locked
launder
my
through them
account.
anyway.
I had to go to the Embleton branch, sorry, not Embleton, the Ellenbrook branch up here, for 2 hours to show ID. The manager was furious that it even happened. They did activate the account, but it is quite, when they lock it, for whatever reason, it is so hard for you to go in and say, this is me, I'm proving that it's me. So even your own money They're very strict because they're worried that there's a lot of scammers out there now.
Yeah.
Would you ever do something like that, Suzanne? Rip off-
Absolutely not. I struggle to remember my own name. So it's much easier.
We're
just
that
to
close to death anyway. Because of our age.
It's easier just to
why would we have to fake it?
keep with the truth, because then you only have to remember one thing.
You're very, very true. I give her courage. That's about it, and maybe 10-year sentence for doing it. But I think as well, she was only in her 42, I believe she was.
Well, that's why it was so believable. Yeah.
42-year-old having to fake her death, and she looked like she was a pretty successful businesswoman. So she didn't need the money by the looks of it. So who knows why she? Does it say why she did it?
No,
Apart
but
from
maybe
greed?
funsies is usually a good reason.
What do you reckon, Bernadette?
Look, I want to keep my life drama-free. I would never do anything like this.
Yep.
I think, look, if she was already a successful businesswoman,
Why did
wouldn't she be better just open up a new business, fresh start, and go from there?
She's not going to open a deli.
She's a corner shop here. It would have been a great idea.
I must admit, I did enjoy seeing that Channel 9, the doorstop thing where they run after the person in the street and harass them.
Old school
And
journalism.
I thought that was quite funny. Suzanne, what's your story?
Well, we're in a bit of a
Pickle.
housing crisis at the moment, as we know, and it's not just here in Perth. It's around the world. So different places are dealing with it in different ways. And in Barcelona, one of the local mayors wants to cut out the ability to rent out your apartment per se, or your house, for tourists.
Yep.
They want them to have these houses available for residents, for citizens.
They're looking at doing this next year, aren't they?
2028, so it's still a couple of years
so
away.
they're giving people time.
Yeah, giving time. Of course, this goes against the whole idea of Airbnb. So they've asked them for comment. They haven't had anything back, because I'm sure they don't agree with any of this. But the point is that we don't have enough space for people. Even when you apply it to here, we don't have enough spaces for people to live. And when there are spaces being kept aside for tourists, for luxurious purposes, then is that really in the interests of the rest of our community?
And the whole idea about this is saying, well, there's a crisis with housing at the moment. A lot of people are homeless, families can't get housing. You've got wealthy people and sometimes not so wealthy people that have invested heavily to make a killing at the moment because the prices are quite high. You're paying it on average about $750 a week rent. So what the government of Spain has done, which I think is a great idea, they're saying, well, no, if you've got housing, use it for people that are homeless for a few years. They're giving people notice. But maybe we should do here, as a council, the City of Vincent, do you think that's a great idea to help people in your area as well that can't get housing?
I'm personally a big believer in that I think we need to be encouraging people to use the housing resources that we have to accommodate as many people as we can. People are obviously doing this as a bit of a side hustle, a business, and I understand that, they have that right, they have that opportunity, but I just don't think it's morally the right thing to be doing right at this point in time.
Yeah,
we have
probably,
hotels, let them deal with it, and let's
I
let
agree.
people get accommodation.
Yeah, I think B&B has become a big money maker. I know a lot of people are getting $300 and $400 a week. I know one person that used to work with us here, their father rented out their house for $850 a week, and they've actually gone and rented another house for themselves, and there's all tax things that they can apply for. $850 a week for a house that was only worth $400,
Yeah.
Incredible, and people are doing it. What do you reckon, Alex?
I think it says a lot
Alexander?
about. Thank you, Fred. I think it says a lot about the disruption of industries when you look at something like Airbnb has come in and disrupted the entire hotel industry, and then, but in doing so, have caused a lot of hotels to close down because they cannot compete with that kind of infrastructure on a global scale. And now that they kind of control it, we are actually at the whims of things like Airbnb. Same thing with Uber, comes in and disrupts the taxi industry.
Correct.
We're basically at the whims of these international kind of
They were great ideas when they first came out,
and
but
they come in
they've
with
been
a great
abused.
price point, nice and low at the start, then suddenly surge pricing, and and we're left to be like, governments are the only ones who can technically step in and stop that now, because how can you tell
agree.
someone you're not allowed to do that anymore? They're like, well, that's not fair to me. I'm making money. It's my right. You're going to remove my money, right?
Agree. Bernadette, you're the last one. What
I
do
was
you
speaking to a lady a couple of weeks ago, and she said she knew someone who is renting out a chalet in a caravan park for $1,000 a week.
they're making
so you
they're
mentioned
making a killing.
$850, and it's just, I think that they're taking advantage of.
So we all agree B&B and those temporary
Yeah.
rentals maybe should be put on hold for a while, and that housing should go to people who need it.
Who need it? 100%.
Well done. Thank you to Susie Warner. Thank you for coming in. Nice to talk to you. We'll see you again soon. Alexander Secosta, you're back later in the show.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you. And Bernadette, you're back in a couple of weeks, I think, with another
you.
one
I
of
look
your
forward
Talking
to it.
Fashions. Thank you for being with
you.
us. And thank
Wanna catch me there.
This episode of The Couch is proudly supported by Retrovision. Shop with the confidence that you're getting the best price on offer. And Safety Compliance Global, taking care of all your safety requirements. Thank you for supporting local.